Guys, it's not how I usually start these, especially the Thursday predictions, but if you know anything about baseball, baseball doesn't exist. You've probably heard of him. He's, again, makes some pretty crazy videos on, again, the world of baseball there. He's currently being sued by Cooperstown Dreams Park. I'm going to show you guys the logo. I'm not affiliated with baseball in any way, so I can just do this, and there's really nothing they can freaking do. Like, sue me, go ahead. What are you going to do? Like, it's just stupid. They're just not a very good organization there, and again, they don't really deserve to be, again, talked about in any sort of light right now that isn't frowned upon, because again, they're just not a very good group right there. Anyway, though, yeah, we got a game to get into. It's our best Thursday night game in probably 2 months. So I want to get into this, and obviously we have our college football picks this week, which will be not as great. Next week should be pretty fun. Thanksgiving week always, we got the big one again, the game, all that other stuff going on too. But yeah, here's your Thursday night prediction. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Fun of L. Please like and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoy this week's Thursday night football battle. I will be getting you guys all you need to know before you see it, as it is a monster matchup in the AFC here, as we have two teams that, again, Texans, I don't really know. But, again, there was a pretty good game last year between these teams. We'll talk about it a little bit more in a sec. Again, other than that, though, again, college football picks, just skip to that if you want to go see all those, because those are going to be pretty interesting. Also, I'll be reacting to the, not really reacting, because I'm going to be honest, not authentically reacting to those. I will give you guys my opinion on this week's top 25, though. Already week 13 in college football. We're week 12. Thanksgiving is next week. It's absolutely insane. We're already there. But again, our matchup here for Thursday night is the Bills and Texans. The Bills coming in at 7-3 off one of their better offensive performances of the year. Maybe not, though, because they turned over the ball 2 times, maybe 3 times. Definitely twice, with Josh Allen throwing 2 interceptions. That didn't really matter because he had the second game of his career with 3 passing and 3 rushing touchdowns, which is absolutely ridiculous. But with that, the Bills moved to 7-3 with that bounce back win after they lost to the Dolphins in week 9. No, week 10, my bad. But again, last week against the Bucks, 44-32 win. Very good performance. But obviously, a lot of concerns are on this run defense, as they did give up over 200 yards to a group that has really not been good all season. Again, partially because they didn't have, they haven't had Bucky Irving for a while. But at the same time, you shouldn't be giving up that many yards to Sean Tucker in any week. So the fact they were able to do that happened last week, definitely a little bit concerning for them. But they travel to Houston. Again, in second place in the division. They are a game and a half back, basically 2 games back, if we're going to be honest there, considering I don't really see the Patriots dropping these games. But we'll see. Texans, again, they're in the 3rd place by a pretty decent amount here, as they come to this game with 2 games against the Colts, if I'm not mistaken. The rest of the year, have they played them yet? I really don't think they have. Have they? No, they haven't. They're, again, coming in at 5-5, again, trying out a backup quarterback for the 3rd straight week, which they are 2-0 with, as Davis Mills, again, filled in for C.J. Stroud, who got injured against, not injured, who did he get in? He got injured against the Broncos, right? Yeah. So the Broncos game, they obviously lost to that one at the end. And then, again, the past 2 weeks that have been close, they would come on the right side of, again, as they pulled off that 29-10 comeback 2 weeks ago here in Houston. And then, obviously, this past Sunday, they were able to escape Nashville with that win against the Titans. But at the same time, this team is definitely living on the edge, but they have put together some pretty good fourth quarter performances the past couple weeks. This defense, though, is obviously what's going to lead them to this game against the Bills. But again, they should be able to establish a running game, which again is something that could definitely help out Davis Mills, again, who is their backup quarterback. They're starting for a third straight week there. But anyway, this game will be at 8:15 as always on Amazon Prime Video. Nothing else to really talk about with that. You have Al Michaels, Kirk Herbstreit, and Kaylee Tartung on the call. Also, good thing to know, guys. No Thursday night game next week. I mean, there is, but it's not gonna be on Amazon. Again, I'll get you guys the Thanksgiving preview for all those games and predictions as well. But it's not gonna be on Amazon. Again, they'll have Black Friday football, which will be pretty fun to talk about next week. Pretty good matchup for that as well. Again, getting later in the season, these Thursday night matchups seem to be heating up, but again, as I talked about a little bit earlier, the matchup between these 2 teams last year was absolutely amazing. I mean, not for Josh Allen. He went 9 of 30 in that game. Again, you'll see the ending of that later. But for the Texans, again, they were 3-1 to start last season. They were playing the 3-1 Bills team that a lot of people liked, even though they did just got blown out by the Ravens. But the Texans handed them their second straight loss, win 23-20 on the game-winning field goal at the end of the game. One of the better games of last season, I think a lot of people overlook. But that's all I got for you guys there. Again, for the Texans, we'll go to the Bills. No, we'll just start with the Texans. It really doesn't matter. C.J. Stroud is out again with a concussion. Davis Mills will start once again. He is now 2-0 as a starter. Woody Marks, Nick Chubb are the running backs. Tank Dell, any update on his return? Maybe we'd even get this to load if I had to guess, because I don't really see this happening. My computer's just, it's not doing too hot right now. But again, we already know who's that receiver. But do we got anyone here? No idea. I don't think he's going to play this year. But anyway, Neil Collins coming off his best game of the season. Their other receivers, again, other than Christian Kirk, have been playing better. Donald Schultz, tight end. Offensive line is not great, but they're healthy. Titus Howard's questionable, as well as Trent Brown. Again, those are the only injured guys. Will Hernandez and Will Anderson, my bad, and Deke Autry both questionable. I think Will Anderson will end up playing. Aziz Al-Shaair is definitely up in the air, but if he doesn't play, Jake Hansen's there. Obviously, Henry 2020, and my bad. Obviously, Henry 2020 and EJ Speed are linebacker. Secondary-wise, Jalen Petry's out a second straight week. Miles Bryant will start in the slot. The rest of the secondary is healthy. Kyrie Fairbairn's kicker and Tommy Townsend will be doing the punting for the Bills now. They will have Dalton Kincaid out once again for this game. Again, didn't really seem to struggle last week. Curtis Samuel is definitely going to be a little bit of an interesting thing to see there. Running game has not really had the greatest, again, production the past 2 weeks. We'll see how that, again, develops this week. Offensive line is healthy, though, as they've been all season. Defensively, they're basically healthy, guys. I need to see them improve their run defense because if they're not able to, I mean, they don't have the greatest D-line, let's be honest there. But if they're not able to, this is going to be a big issue as the season, if it continues to persist. Matt Prater and Mitch Wisnowski, kicker and punter. That's all I got for this Bills team. And then we look at this game as a whole in terms of where I see it at. Also, my bad. Let's look at the teams on a bye this week. We have the Commanders, who are on in the middle of a 6-game losing streak. Dolphins, who have a shot at making the playoffs with their 2 easier games the next couple of weeks. And then we also have the Chargers, who are coming off their worst game of the season against the Jags, and then we also have the Broncos, who are in the middle of an 8-game winning streak on their bye week. Just gonna tell you guys that we'll probably reiterate that on Sunday. But for the Sunday predictions, but for this game, I'm gonna put this one in a must-watch. I don't know if I could put it. There's some decent games this week. I don't think this is again one of the more loaded weeks overall. But this is, again, I think this is going to be a must-watch game for me. I don't see it as a game of the week. If C.J. Stroud played and maybe the Texans were a little bit better, I could definitely see that as a must-watch. It's definitely one of the best games of the week. But I don't really know if I'm putting it in there because there's just some games in the schedule that I think are a little bit more pressing than this one is. But still going to be a really good game. Again, I think this is fair to put it. Again, this should be a close one. For who actually wins this one, I'm going to say the Bills are able to avoid too many turnovers and are able to figure out that Texans defense somewhat to, again, overcome that Texans team. Even though I don't see this Texans offense having the worst game, I'm going to say the Bills win this one 20-17, maybe a game-winning kick of some sorts. But that's all I got for you guys here in the Thursday night prediction. Let's move over to those college football picks for this week. Alright guys, and as you can see, here are my, again, college football games we will be going over today and the ones that I will be picking. But before we do that, I will be looking at the updated college football playoff rankings after a pretty tumultuous week in college football. Again, there's only one more actual regular season schedule we will be going through. I think I'll be able to predict the, will I be able to pick the games? Yeah, I think I'll be able to pick the conference championships. That'll be a little bit of a lighter slate, but that'll definitely be interesting to talk about there. Other than the conference games, I think we will be doing, what is that now? Week 12, Week 13 next week. I don't know for Thanksgiving if we're going to, no, we have to do it for Thanksgiving. We'll do college football pick'em next week, but Week 14, Week 15, I think that's when we're going to do our bowl games. I think they start that Saturday, so maybe I'm timing that up right, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. I think that's that's what we'll do for that. And then after that, Week 16, Week 17, I'll figure something out with that. Maybe playoff, if I can pick those games. I think the 19th, that might time up pretty well. But anyways, guys, no, it definitely will because the playoff will be the next night. Sorry to try to confuse you guys, but college football playoff rankings. Third week now, yes. Louisville lost to Clemson. Iowa, I mean, they've lost 2 straight games. Pitt got blown out. South Florida got embarrassed by Navy. And Cincinnati lost to, I think it was Arizona State, right? Whatever. Arizona State has beat Texas Tech, even though they played against them with their backup quarterback. That's one of the better wins in the entire college football slate so far this season. So even though they've been really inconsistent and lost to Mississippi State and stuff, they're a pretty decent team. Tulane, I don't think they're a top 25 team, but they do have Jake Retzlaff, who is one of the better quarterbacks in the country, so at least they have that. Houston's been pretty decent all year, but they're obviously not a team that'll make playoff. Missouri's lost too many games. Illinois is a joke, but again, they're still here because they are a pretty talented team. Tennessee's going to continue to move up. That doesn't really mean much. ACC really is just relying on Virginia winning their last game and then hopefully getting in the playoff. Who knows, though? Because, again, it's a little shady here. Them and obviously Georgia Tech are the 2 teams that could get in. Virginia doesn't have as much pop as Georgia Tech, but Georgia Tech doesn't have a defense. So we'll see. Michigan comes down again. You don't blow a game against Maryland this week, and you have the game next week. We'll again talk about that a lot when we get there. Texas, they're done. USC again, they have the game of the year against Oregon, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Vandy, they're not going to make the playoff, but again, they've had a great year. Miami, again, very interesting conversation here with Notre Dame. Again, do you take the head-to-head that Miami has over Notre Dame into account? Again, they're moving up. Utah, they're a strong team. It's just really hard to see me seeing them as an at-large bid. BYU has a really good shot again if they're able to get to that Big 12 championship just because of the fact that they have only one loss. Bama had a really tough game against Oklahoma this week, and again that was a big upset. Losing that home game again, they had the longest home winning streak in the country coming into that game. But yeah, for Alabama, that was definitely a tough loss. But again, they're still one of the teams that, again, should get in as long as they don't blow one of these last two games. Notre Dame, I don't think they should be in the playoff, but they are here because they've won 8 straight games and they took care of business against Pitt. But again, those two losses to A&M and especially Miami are going to really be conversations as we get to that final playoff ranking or just the playoff bracket. Again, when we get there, Oklahoma they had the win against Alabama unless they implode this week against Missouri or definitely implode against LSU. They should be okay. Going to be interesting if they actually get a home playoff game though. Oregon again, we already talked about the USC game. Ole Miss, they're going to get in as long as they don't collapse. They have that big win over Oklahoma. Texas Tech, they're the best team outside of the Power 4. Power 2 conferences. Georgia, they're looking really good right now. Again, definitely have a really good shot to win the SEC. Again, you got the top 3 undefeated teams. Texas A&M obviously had a historic SEC comeback. Indiana, again, in Ohio State, they're going to play probably in the Big Ten championship, unless Little Bro State comes out once again. But that's all I got for the playoff rankings, guys. For the actual picks this week, we have SMU and Louisville. They're not ranked 20. I don't know why that's there, but I'm going to pick SMU in this game. I think they still have a shot to make the ACC championship. I might be wrong on that, but Ziggy picked there. I don't want them to win the ACC, though, because that would be ridiculous. I don't want to see them play like they did against Penn State. They're not a playoff caliber team. Kennesaw State, Missouri State. Missouri State can't make a bowl game. I think they're a little bit checked out right now. Kennesaw State's on the midst of their best season ever. I'm going to give them the nod there. USC versus Oregon. I'm not going to lie, guys. The only reason I'm picking USC is because I want madness to occur. I think Oregon's a decent team. I don't see them going past against quarterfinals. So for that reason, even though USC, obviously, I don't really see them. I don't know, again, if they win this game, there's definitely a shot they get in. But it's like that. This is just a massive game. I'm going to pick USC again. This is where game day is going, as again it should be. It's really the only matchup this week that has any sort of true. Again, this is a huge game in terms of the playoff picture, but still, I'm going to again say this is like the only huge game anyway. Jacksonville State, Florida International. Yeah, I'm shocked. I did not know FIU was 5-5, but yeah, I'm picking Jackson State there. I think they're second, and then them. What is it? Am I casual for saying this is Conference USA? I think it is. Whatever, though. UTSA versus East Carolina. East Carolina is nasty. Give them there. So, Southern Miss versus South Alabama. I'm actually picking South Alabama in this game. Southern Miss just had the worst game of their season against Texas State, and I'm going to say South Alabama, even though they're pretty bad, pulls off a crazy upset. Hopefully it's closer, though. TCU versus Houston. Houston wins this game. Again, it's going to be definitely a close one for sure, but I'm going to say they win this one. Other ranked matchup, we have Pitt and Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech's going to win this one. Pitt, they just come off a really bad game. But, I guess they could win this game. That would be pretty interesting. Again, I expect obviously points to be scored there. Tennessee versus Florida. Yeah, Florida's done. BYU and Cincinnati. Again, don't worry about these points things there. I'm going to say BYU pulls it off. Again, Cincinnati hasn't played the greatest. I still don't know why they're 25th, guys. But I'm going to say BYU wins this ranked matchup here. And how many points will be scored in Oregon USC? What do you want to say scores here? 34-31, so 65 points there. That's all I got for you guys here on the Thursday night. And again, College Football Week 13 predictions. We only one more week of regular season football to predict here for college. So that's all I got for you guys there. I hope you guys enjoy your Thursday night and that game. And I'll see y'all for the recap of all that tomorrow.
3rd and 10. So even if you decide to run it here, if you're Houston and you're alert, use one of your timeouts and make sure you get the ball back. Let's see what Buffalo does.
From the gun, rushes on. Allen waits and throws. He bounces it. Curtis Samuel, the intended target. Will Anderson Jr. put the pressure on Allen. And it's a very quiet 3 and out with 16 seconds.